Green to green, my friend. You good, homie? Oh, okay. My bad. I always forget you play the fucking intro. Like, I don't know how I forget this every fucking week, dude. Literally. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'll just send you, dude, I gotta send you the freaking slideshow that Nikki made for me. Like.
Oh man, you know, and this is the perfect way to open up the show too. You know, because we're talking about what's up, everybody? You know, you're here for another episode. Good morning to you. Good evening for us. We're having a good time here. We're here for a long time and for a good time as always.
That's right.
You know, I think we should just get to the bread and butter, real quick.
Sure.
You know, we you know, it's still in the foundation stages, guys, but we are coming upon season 3 of the DD214 Gaming Podcast.
Season 3 headed straight your way.
You know, we had year 0, we had year 1.
Huh?
You know, we had year. You know, this was pretty much like season 2, and it worked really good. We had a lot of guests. We had good times, man, and I can't wait for the future of it. And some of the exciting things, we're gonna have a new theme song, which I mean, we're gonna say here. It's gonna be, produced by us. Jay's gonna be doing the vocals. He's writing the lyrics, and I'm actually gonna write to this one guy named The Kiffness later to see if maybe there's some pointers or something that I should follow. In order to do it right, but I'm actually gonna play the song at the end of the show, guys. So we're gonna give a big shout out to Kiffness, and it actually has it's featured Drill Sergeant DePaulo from Fort Jackson in the song. But I can't wait. Well, that's how we're gonna end the show today, guys.
Well, Nikki just messaged me. She's like, "You guys should do it like the Brady Bunch."
I love it. I like that idea.
Can you imagine we had like an intro like the Brady Bunch, basically? You know?
Why not?
I'm not opposed to dressing like a woman, dude. Like, it doesn't bother me. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality.
Listen, we've lived out our lives. I think it's time to spice it up a little bit.
I think we're gonna have to, and I'll tell you what, honestly, brother, especially for our kind of like mainstream continued viewing audience. We have come a very long way, and even though we've never had a very, I want to say, extremely set format, I think it will be better moving forward to have a little bit more of an organized and set structure to what we do here, because we do have a good time, and I also like the fact that we're slightly decentralized, so we don't always do the same thing every show, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's also not a bad thing to be organized and have a little bit more of a, I guess, structure to things. That way we know you kind of know what you're getting, basically.
Absolutely.
Week by week. You know what I mean? Which and apologies to our viewing audience today. Unfortunately, we are having to pre-record this, so we are not unfortunately coming to you live right now Sunday morning when you're viewing this. Sorry about that. That's on me. Got to go get the kids from Denver tomorrow. They were visiting their mother this weekend, so I got to drive in the morning and get them back because my youngest has a birthday party to attend.
Hey,
I got to get up early and drive a couple hours to Denver and a couple hours back. So yay, right? So
as Queen says, the show must go on.
The show must go on. That's right.
The show must go on.
And don't feel bad about the pre-recording, guys, because if it makes you feel any better, because of that birthday party that my youngest is going to, I'm going to be missing my Chiefs game. So they're playing the Chargers tomorrow. So I'm not even going to be able to see the game. I'm just going to keep up with the on my phone, basically. So
yeah, while we're talking about sports real quick, before we get to the contact sports, the Yankees have swept Boston yesterday.
No way.
In a hell of a game. It was like 8-3 yesterday. By the third inning, it was 7-0.
Nice.
We're
I'm not a big Yankees fan, but because you're a fan, and they're going for the playoffs, like it's giving me a slight like.
Yeah, we're
pushing. All right,
We're pushing the envelope right now, but we're about to.
Are they in the bubble, or are they going to have a playoff, or like what's the? How are they doing?
So they're in the conversation. It looks like that if they win this series, they're going to the playoffs.
Okay.
As of right now, the game just started, and the Red Sox are leading the Yankees 1-0. And on top of that, they're playing at Fenway for this series. So it's gotten very, very intense, very interesting.
Now is Boston already in the playoffs, or are they?
They're in the wild card. It looks like.
Oh, so it's between the Yankees and the Red Sox for the wild card.
That's what it's looking like.
So every game is the fucking playoffs right now.
Yeah, technically, because right after this we have.
Because whoever wins this series, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, because we still. No, you're good. Because we still have, which I'm absolutely very worried about. We still have number one in the league, the Tampa Bay Rays, and we have the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh.
So so we got two high tier teams coming now. While we're talking about baseball.
Talking about baseball. Talking about playoffs.
A couple days ago, my wife hooked me up with a full complete set. The 2005 Topps baseball complete set. So,
are there any cards in there that might be?
Is there?
There's worth a bit from that particular year. Is there like some rookie cards in there? Or?
There's one rookie card that I have seen that it goes for close to $1,000, and it's sitting right.
Whose is it?
It's Justin Verlander. Oh, you're staticking up. Yeah, so somewhere in here is a $1,000.
Yeah. So what did Verlander do? What did Verlander like? Why is that card $1,000? Like my fucking George Brett rookie cards, I don't think are $1,000.
Yeah.
So why is that card? Why is that
right here? I'm literally touching it with my fingerprint, so the PSA is obviously going to go down. Probably, I am going to get this card graded very soon.
Why is that card so expensive? Like, what is the collector value of that particular card?
So the funny thing is, I don't know, but I do know that he had.
But it's a fucking shitload of money.
Yeah, what I do know is that Justin Verlander a couple years ago got into some controversy when he and a famous supermodel came out with a sex tape. A sex tape got leaked, and this was around the time that happened. So, there could be some kind of relevance, and actually that's funny too because I got these other set of cards called the Allen and Ginter pack, and I have another Justin Verlander card right here.
Nice.
So.
Oh yeah. Did you ever watch the sex tape? I mean, was it any good?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember. I don't remember if I ever did. I don't remember. I don't remember, but there is a
after like I don't know, what was it like. I never got big on the celebrity voyeur, sex tape stuff. It was really like I've seen so much porn throughout the years, starting off obviously as a young man, and it's like I've seen so much porn. It's like the celebrity porn doesn't really do anything for me because I'm like, it's not really what I'm into.
It's what do they call it? It's so vanilla.
It's vanilla. That's right. Yeah, I want to see hair pulling, smacking. I want to see stuff happening.
And that's the funny thing because like a lot of these people, they're regular people. They're not porn stars. Right. They're not trained porn stars or whatever.
They're human. They're human beings just like we are. They just happen to be fucking famous. I mean, it's like they have penises and vaginas just like the rest of us do. You know what I mean? It's not this major. It's not a big. That's what I'm saying. I never got into it.
But isn't it funny that it's so much more boring than actual pornography?
Most of them are. Yeah. I think I've seen like one or two celebrity sex tapes where it was like. Not like A-listers. I'm talking like B or C, D-listers. Yeah. But I've seen a couple where I was like, God damn, they're getting down, dude. Like that's what's up. You know what I mean? Like that's what's up. Just like get some, homie. Get some. You know what I mean? But,
just like we're waiting for the guy from Why the Last Man to get down. He still hasn't gotten down yet. We're still waiting. 4 episodes in. 4 episodes in. He's still the only man in the world. Still hasn't gotten some yet. So.
Oh, on that TV show?
Yeah, it's.
So this is literally like the last dick on earth, and he hasn't gotten fucking laid yet.
And then you know what's so funny? They actually so they're very inclusive in the show.
Okay.
Very inclusive. So they have a character who is a trans character, a female to male character.
Okay.
And so with his.
So there is dudes.
Yeah.
So there's another dude.
Yeah, another dude, obviously with no penis, but there has been, the whole point of this one character is that he's trying to find testosterone to keep his body staying the way that he wants it to be. And there's actually a moment where one lady's like, "How?" and then the character says, "Take a fucking guess."
Right.
Right? And then but it's also funny because there's a scene where the male character is being chased by a bunch of female police officers, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And he's just like, "I'm looking for testosterone. I'm looking for testosterone." And he's trying to play off that he's a woman, but it's not working.
This dude literally has the last cock on earth and can't get fucking laid. I don't know if this show is sounding very appealing to me right now. Like dude, you know what really sucks?
A porno will be coming out of this. I guarantee it.
Guarantee it. Dude, you know what would really suck is if you were the last dude on earth, but you were gay. That would really fucking suck. Oh, shit. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the last man on earth is a gay man? Like, that would fucking suck for him, dude. That would fucking suck.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he was like one of those like platinum star ones too that like never that came out like C-section and never touched the vagina at all? Like,
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that person would probably also be like somewhat responsible for like repopulating the fucking earth. So like,
oh my god,
poor bastard, dude. Like, yeah, dude. Like, yeah. Now, granted, you can repopulate the earth without having to do any physical.
But then, you're pretty much everyone's daddy, granddaddy, and so on and so forth.
And how lonely would you be? You know what I mean? Not having, that would suck. That would really fucking suck.
That's a very interesting aspect of the show. Holy shit!
I'm really disappointed this motherfucker hasn't got laid. Like, straight up. Like, I think it's dog shit. This dude hasn't gotten laid. Like, you are literally swinging the only dick on the globe, and you cannot fucking get laid. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yo.
How much of a fucking life failure are you? You know what I mean? Now, granted, that's just where my head's at. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure.
No, but it's true. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
I am sure there's bigger problems going on in the world right now with there only being one dude, right? I'm sure there's bigger problems going on, but you got to figure out of like that many women. Somebody's
got to watch.
Somebody can't control themselves. Somebody's like, I need that. Like, that's the only one. Like, I need it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There was even like one scene where like this one lady was going to shoot him, but it looked like there was some type of sexual tension because she was angry that he was like the last man on earth.
Right.
And she wanted to kill him. You know?
Yep.
Dude,
if it comes down to some shit like that, like swinging a Johnson becomes very important. You know what I mean? And you got to know how to handle your Johnson.
You better pray it's big, bro.
And women have feelings and sexual desires just like men do, and so eventually it's going to come to a head. This dude is probably going to end up in like a 30-on-1 orgy where he is just like face fucked and just destroyed. You know what I mean? He's
going to be put on a assembly line.
Yeah, he basically is. He's going to turn into like. He's just gonna have to go down like one after the other, just like have like a line of like beautiful women, just like like just bent over in front of him, and he just like has to just line them up and just go down the line.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I read Larry Flint's autobiography a long time ago. This dude was in the Navy. This is before he was the founder of Hustler. He was in the Navy, and when he went on shore leave one time, he got off the boat early. He was one of the first ones off. He went straight to a whorehouse, and he got like 4 or 5 different women. And literally lined them up just like that, where they were all bent over. And this dude literally threw his fucking back out, banging all these prostitutes, dude. Like, in some, like, that's like, if that's not the most fucking Larry Flint story I've ever heard in my life. Like, the dude was in the Navy, and he literally threw his back out, fucking prostitutes on shore leave, right? So like,
that must have been a hell of a profile description.
But that's what this show should be. Like I don't even understand what the fuck. How do you not get laid? Like I'm mind boggled.
There's got to be some kind of like brothel or something too. I mean, we haven't even touched the tip of the spear. So far, we've just gotten political. Like we're seeing just mostly government and a lot of things that are shut down, and that's really it. So we haven't even gotten to like rebel groups, fascist groups, racists. We haven't even gotten to there. And the one character is actually an army lady.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually Army Special Forces, from what I'm understanding of the show.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I talk a lot of shit, but I mean the concept is fascinating.
It really is. Can you fucking imagine a world where like me and you, we don't do this podcast anymore? Two women would be taking over. We'd be dead.
Right. And it's like I just can't. It's a fascinating concept, and you'll have to tell me more about it. I just, I'm a dumb infantryman, so
yeah,
I can't get past the lack of sex.
Yeah, it's such an interesting, very interesting concept. In other news, the Guardians of the Galaxy video game soundtrack is coming out.
Okay.
The game comes out October 26th. It's coming on all consoles and PC, and the Nintendo Switch. So, it's a kind of a lengthy track list, so I'll give you a few.
Okay.
I Ran So Far Away by Flock of Seagulls.
Okay, that's more 80s, but okay, yeah, sure.
Take On Me by Aha.
So this is going to be like the 80s, it's like an 80s playlist?
It is an 80s playlist, there we go. Turn Up the Radio by Autograph.
Turn up the radio. Yeah.
My favorite Billy Idol song, White Wedding.
Ooh, that is actually a funny story about that. You know I like karaoke, right?
Yes,
yes. Like talk about it once in a while. The very first karaoke song I ever sang was White Wedding, and it was on the day of my sister's wedding. So my sister got married, we had the reception, and then I went out
hey, little sister.
to have to have like a couple of like celebratory drinks, and that was the first time I ever sang karaoke. It was White Wedding. Yeah.
That's my favorite Billy Idol song.
Mine is my favorite song by him is "Rock the Cradle." That I remember that video from the '80s, dude. Like when I was a kid, like
that.
There's like where like the chick comes over to like I don't know like place like I don't know it's some weird, the music video is weird, but this chick ends up like dancing and it's like with this nerd dude who like I don't fucking know whatever.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
like,
no, I know, I remember it.
Yeah. That's all.
We also got.
What else we got? I'm sorry.
Call me, Danny, call me, by Blondie. Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult.
Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, that is actually my staple karaoke song.
There you go.
I can sing that song forwards, backwards, in a blackout, like sober. I can literally like I've sang that song like so many times, dude. Like, yeah, go ahead. What else we got?
Next is "Don't Worry, Be Happy" by Bobby McFerrin.
Bobby McFerrin, yes sir.
Yep. Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler.
I need a hero.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll Tumble for You by the Culture Club. Not familiar with that one.
Boy George. Is that Boy George?
Oh yes, it is. It is.
Culture Club.
Culture Club.
That's Boy George, isn't it?
Yep. Rock Till You Drop by Def Leppard.
Interesting.
Interesting
choice.
The Final Countdown by Europe.
Okay, that's definitely going to be on that one. Final Countdown.
This one is actually one of my favorite songs of all time. Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax, don't do it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I love that song. Cars by Gary Newman.
Okay.
Everyone's a Winner by Hot Chocolate. Ooh, Where Eagles Dare by Iron Maiden.
Oh, bitch.
They could have chose a better one.
I wanted to be Where Eagles Dare by Misfits.
Oh. I like a good Misfits song,
I know goddamn son of a bitch, you know?
Yep. Bad Reputation by Joan Jett.
Okay.
I Love It Loud by Kiss. Turn Me Loose by Loverboy. Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. Hangin' Tough by New Kids on the Block.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Hangin' Tough? Oh,
yep,
come on.
Hangin' Tough. Hit Me With Your Best Shot by Pat Benatar.
Huh?
Since You've Been Gone by Rainbow.
Okay.
Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Nice.
The Warrior by Scandal and Patti Smith.
Hey, dude, funny story about Rick Astley. Like, so I was on Reddit the other day, and Rick Astley did a cover of Everlong by Foo Fighters at a club like last week with his band, and he put the recording up on Reddit. And so I commented in the thread section. I made a comment, and I was like, "Hey, man, that's whatever." The dude, fucking Rick Astley, actually replied to me, and I was like, "Ha, fucking cool." Rick Astley actually replied to me.
That's fucking cool.
So that's my celebrity story for the day. I got Rick Astley to reply to me on Reddit.
That's fucking cool, man. Let's see. Well, we got The Warrior. Oh yeah, Love Song by Simple Minds. Tainted Love.
Really?
Yeah.
Not
the Cure. Yeah, I know.
What the fuck?
And the Cure, and I love the Cure. My favorite the Cure song is A Forest.
Dude, there's a reason that South Park has a joke about like the lead singer of the Cure saving the world.
Yeah, it's possible. Like, We Built This City by Starship.
Fucking gay.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister.
Fuck yeah, Twisted Sister.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, G. Snyder. Fuck yeah, bro.
It's getting real interesting now. Everybody Have Fun Tonight by Wang Chung.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That song is absolutely okay if on that list.
Wake Me Up Before You Go by Wham.
Wham.
Yep, and the rest of the songs are actually they're listed as Star-Lord. So I'm going to assume that the rest of these songs are sang by the guy who does Star-Lord in the game, which are songs that are Zero to Hero, Space Riders, Ghost, Watch Me Shine, We're Here, All for One, No Guts, No Glory, Solar Skies, and The Darkness Inside. So this looks like a very interesting track list. I would love to see this come out in vinyl like they did for the movie versions of the soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so fucking cool. I'd really love to see that for this because I will
Do you have a record player?
It's to the right of me.
Nice, dude. Well played, sir. Well
Yeah,
played.
Yeah, I love.
Speaking of soundtracks and playlists and record players, Ghost just announced their next tour.
I saw.
Volbeat is opening up for them, right?
Yeah.
So Volbeat is going to be opening up for Ghost, and I was looking up the dates, and I was seeing where they were going to be going, and one of them happens to be Independence, Missouri.
Holy
and
shit.
So, and it's in February, so me and my beautiful, wonderful, amazing girlfriend
are gonna go see Ghost.
We have 2 tickets to see Ghost in February in Independence. So
how interesting. So the venue that they're playing at, because the town, obviously I've been to Independence. I've seen it's not that big. So where are they playing?
A suburb. It's an arena. It's basically it'd be like a hockey arena. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like a minor league. It's not a hockey arena, but I'm saying the size of it. It'd be like It'd be like a minor league hockey arena. Yeah. So it's not a fucking NHL or a basketball.
It's like the size of what an arena was from the 80s to the early 2000s.
Probably 10,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably 10,000.
Shit, that's good enough.
About the size of the Tucson Convention Center, probably.
That's not bad.
In Tucson, where I grew up. So no, it's not. Yeah, and that's what you get in a city. It's Kansas City, so even the suburbs have fucking arenas. You know what I mean?
That's great. And for a small town, I mean, Thrice is going to be here in a couple weeks, so I'm hoping I'm able to see them. We got bands like Motionless and White coming here. Under Oath is going on tour in January.
Under Oath, they're still around, huh?
Under Oath just came out with.
Are they still Christian?
What's very interesting is that they went this very dark route with a few of their albums after their drummer Aaron left.
Okay.
Now the drummer was the singer of the band. Oh, thank you, baby.
Service with a smile.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look at that. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm old Jay. So what were you saying? So the drummer was the singer and yes. He left.
His name was Aaron Gillespie, and he actually he left the band, And after he left, the band went through this wicked dark turn where a lot of their religious like perspectives weren't shown that much, and it was actually like to me like a reflection of trouble with faith or having an issue recognizing their faith or losing their faith or whatever it may be. A lot of those albums signified that.
Sure.
And Aaron is back now. And he's been back. I want to say he's been back for maybe, I think there's like the third album now that he's back now.
Okay.
And they've gone like a really beautiful approach because now they're still hard, but they have this really awesome like alternative ambiance to them now that really it's good enough for the radio, and it sounds like, and all their songs sound like deep cuts. And you know, for those who know me, I love a good deep cut.
I remember there was a Christian rock band called Disciple, and they came out with an album. This would have been not very long before I joined the Army. It's about the time I got married the first time. So yeah, like 2007, 2008 time frame, they came out with an album. And like the whole album was like it was like a press play album. I was like, God damn, dude, like this is a really good fucking album. You know what I mean? Like, you know, regardless of, you know, religious beliefs or anything like that, it was like, the music was really fucking good. You know what I mean? It was just the music itself was really fucking good.
Yeah, and you know, it's so crazy. Because it's interesting that you say that because there's bands I used to listen to. Okay, we had POD.
Yep.
We also had Demon Hunter.
I was just gonna say, have you ever heard of Demon Hunter?
You know,
fucking, I got my shitty Demon Hunter tattoo.
And
you know,
and then but then you also had there was a wild Christian death metal scene. Yes. As crazy as it sounds,
I have shirts. I have like Impending Doom, War of Ages. You know, like fucking there were some really good Christian bands, like really good.
One of them was Living Sacrifice, which ended up, the guitar player ended up playing for POD. And then there was Soul Embraced, which actually the guitar player for Soul Embraced ended up going into Evanescence, and that song Tourniquet is actually a cover of a heavy metal song.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So
fuck yeah,
that's a nice little fact. Well, actually, while we're talking about music, Nirvana, Nevermind, the album Nevermind is now going to be 30 years old.
Holy shit.
And
I got.
Yeah, I want to hear because you were alive when the album came out. So
I was. And I remember it very vividly.
So what was going on? What was, because Kurt Cobain had not passed away yet. He was still around.
Yeah. Oh, this is in. Nevermind was released a little less than 4 years before he died. And then within that, like 3 years and 9 months or whatever it was, like Nirvana and grunge music in general, like the whole spectrum of rock and roll shifted like massively. And it started with that album. It started when they released Smells Like Teen Spirit. Like that song like crushed everything into powder. And then all of a sudden, like I'm talking like, you want to talk about like 80s hair metal, right? 80s hair metal was like really big, rock and roll, girls, you know, having fun, drinking,
Nirvana
hanging
came
with
in
the
and
boys.
fucking killed it.
That shit fucking died overnight. Like it literally fucking died overnight. You hear those songs on like classic rock, you know, radio stations nowadays. On the actual radio back in those days, that shit went away overnight. You didn't see fucking hair metal. Like Smells Like Teen Spirit came out, and all of a sudden everybody was wearing fucking plaid and fucking singing about their goddamn feelings and shit. You know, and it was really like it was very moody. It was very moody, like alternative music and grunge music in the 90s was very moody. You know, it was like very in my feelings. You know, like if you know, bands like Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, you know, like fucking Seattle, dude, like just all of Seattle in general, like the massive shift that area had on the music landscape in the 90s started because of fucking Nirvana. And that's really like, and by the way, this is coming from a guy who's not a huge Nirvana fan. I have several of their songs that I do like, and when I was younger, I did own a couple of their albums. But I don't consider them like my favorite 90s band or grunge. They're not even like my favorite grunge band, you know, but that's not to deny their obvious impact on music and really society in general, you know, because you literally saw like entire fucking genres of music go away overnight. And it literally
that's crazy. That's actually very crazy, and that's actually why I wanted to hear your perspective about what was going on during that time, because I didn't know that.
Yeah, you literally got fucking watching MTV.
We're talking 1991, and hair metal was still.
I would say like 92. It probably started hitting hard in 92 because I think the album was released 30 years ago this week.
Pantera was probably going into their transition during this time too. Because
Pantera was one of the only bands that kept it fucking metal.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking chopped their balls off in the 90s. Like everybody in 80s metal chopped their balls off except for like a couple of fucking crucial bands. Pantera didn't chop their balls off. They actually got harder. You know, because in the 80s they were
they were a hair band.
Pantera started as a fucking hair metal band, dude. Like, yeah, Pantera actually got harder. You know what I mean? So like, good for them, right? Slayer.
That's such a crazy fucking dynamic too. That a lot of people don't understand. That Philip Anselmo and Dimebag and the rest of them, they were fucking hair band.
Yeah, they started as a hair band, and then but Slayer never lost their balls. You know, Machine Head never lost their balls. But the list gets pretty fucking short after that. And if you're talking about bands that you actually hear on the radio, you know, more than once every fucking blue moon, you saw shit die like overnight. Like you didn't fucking hear from like Motley Crue after fucking Smells Like Teen Spirit. Like, prove me wrong. Like what was Motley Crue doing from fucking like 1992 to 1995? Probably not shit. You know, because like they definitely weren't in the fucking news. You know what I mean?
That is so interesting. And now you saw like So not only did you see a musical shift, but you also mentioned you saw a cultural shift too.
Correct. Yep. Because so simultaneously, along with the Nirvana and the kind of the grunge music and the alternative rock phase, the other giant cultural shift was you had gangster rap. So fucking NWA,
Wu-Tang,
Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang was a little bit later, but
okay, yeah,
like,
right.
If we're talking like early 90s. So the real shift was like you went from like all these like neon bright colors, like 80s colors, to this very, you know, solid colors. You know what I mean? Like it was like everybody got turned into like a fucking heavy metal gangster in the fucking 90s, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were a kid or a teenager in the 90s, like you were either wearing like some grunge shit or you're wearing some baggy ass gangster shit, or a combination of both. You know what I mean? Like I still pretty much dress like that to this day. Like I'm a fucking, that's literally like my fashion style is baggy and loose. You know what I mean? Like that's because of that era. You know what I mean? And that's and growing up being a kid, obviously a lot of that music obviously shaped my life as far as like the sounds of my life, you know, that shifted me in a certain direction. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff I grew up listening to, you know? So
yeah. It's very cool. That's very cool. Thank you for that, because I've always wanted to know what was going on during that time, you know, and it, I mean, so how fast did you see, like, people changing their clothes? Like, how fast was that?
Well, that would be, like, the difference of, like, going on summer vacation and coming back, and we're, like, a lot of the trends were still similar. You know, you still had fashion trends, obviously. I don't want to make it sound like it wasn't, like, 100% of everybody was dressing like that, but at the beginning of the 90s, you had, like, fucking MC Hammer. But then, like, a couple years later, you've got fucking Dr. Dre, like, waving fucking AKs and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you're not gonna wear the parachute pants anymore. You're probably gonna put on the fucking Dickies, you know, and fly a fucking, and fly a rag, you know, out of your back pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like, but that was only within like 2 or 3 years. You know, you went from fucking MC Hammer rapping about can't touch this to fucking Dre Day and Let Me Ride and Nothing But a G Thing. You know what I mean? So the shift was massive on, like, starting with, like, and same with the rock and roll. Like, you're not going to tease your hair. You're not going to tease your hair with some fucking Aquanet, you know, to go to your fucking rock and roll show now. You're going to fucking...
Don't start
go in there
turning me on. Don't start.
Yeah, dude, like, all that... I mean, it's really, like... By the time I went to the first concert I went to was 1995. It was Ozzy Osbourne. By the time I went to that concert, 95, there was not a single person with teased hair in that audience. So put it that way. So within half of the decade,
that's interesting.
In the rock and roll, like the metalhead community, teased hair did not exist anymore. It was gone. It was dead, fucking dead. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it wasn't. You'd be fucking made fun of if you fucking showed up like it. Nowadays it's a retro thing, you know. But then it was like no.
Yeah, and I'm stuck in it. The retro thing. I love it.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with retro stuff, dude. Like, I mean, obviously Nirvana's music has had such a groundbreaking impact on the music industry in general, and then of course with Kurt Cobain passing away a few short years later, you know what I mean? Like it amplified the impact that it had. You know what I mean? It really did. It just amplified the impact. And then and I've always asked the question too. When you think about Dave Grohl was the fucking drummer of Nirvana. You think about the impact that Kurt Cobain's death had. Like, would there be Foo Fighters without if Kurt Cobain had lived, basically? Would the Foo Fighters have existed the way they exist now? And I don't know if they would have or not.
Absolutely. You know? You also had Jason Everman, who went to Special Forces.
Yep, Jason Everman. He also played in Soundgarden too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, you know, and he actually has a band now. He has a band now that does a lot of work for veterans and stuff, which is really cool and like good form.
I think the whole band are veterans.
They might be. I actually haven't checked out any of his stuff, but I need to, because he's an amazing person. I know we made a joke on this podcast one day about him, and God damn it, sorry, dude.
Oh, look,
we made
life.
Yeah, do you remember the joke I told you that day? Like, what do you call a dude who had enough musical talent to play in Nirvana and Soundgarden, but decided to join the army instead?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the answer's a fucking idiot. Like, he's a fucking idiot. No, he's obviously not. He's a very talented individual. So
you know, listen. You know, a lot of people will probably take offense to that, but I think the one thing that people have a misconception is that this is how a lot of veterans talk to each other. You know?
Yeah.
You know, these are the jokes that we tell. These are the jokes that we tell.
We break each other's balls all the time.
You know, I just my little brother, who's a Marine, I just spoke to him a couple days ago, and he's getting out, and I had to break his balls a little bit, and I told him, I was like, you better get your fucking VA. You better go to fucking school. And he's like, oh, come on. I'm like, no, you want to get paid, right? Go to fucking school, right? And I was like, you know what to do? Hey, you know what you want to do? He was like, yeah. He wants to do ATC like Chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I
was like,
because he'll have a fucking job when he gets out. Hey, that's a fucking, if you can let me put it this way, if you can handle the stress of that job, you'll be fine for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That job will never go away. You know what I mean? At least in our lifetimes, that job ain't going away.
Yeah, and it's so fucking interesting talking to him, and like,
I'm listening, by the way.
You're good.
Talking.
It's so interesting giving him the advice that was given to me, and just being like, hey, because he's in the Marines, I was in the Army, so the whole, breaking of the balls thing is there. So I'm obviously breaking his balls, Marines and all this stuff. But it's nice. I'm proud of him. But yeah, but back to what I was saying. Yeah, this is just how we talk to each other, and if it's very, very rarely where a veteran or a soldier will take that shit personally, because they get it.
You only take it personally when it gets personal. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, that's really and it's always. Well, I shouldn't say always. I want to say it's almost always very obvious when somebody's being too serious about it. Be like, making a really, really bad offhand comment like, well, maybe if your fucking wife hadn't left you for Jody, you wouldn't be so fucking broke right now. You'd be like, motherfucker, what, dude? Like, that's not cool, right? But the friendly ball, like, I could talk all the shit about Jason Everman I want. The dude played in Nirvana, Soundgarden. He was a fucking Ranger, Special Forces. Like, I got nothing on this motherfucker. I can make a joke about him all I want, being an idiot for joining the army after being in a couple badass rock and roll bands.
He could beat both our asses with one hand standing behind his hand.
He already did. He already like I'm looking around. I'm living in a double wide right now, right? Like the dude already won. Okay, like the game's already over, bro. Like.
That's great. Yeah. In gaming news, we also have... Okay, so first, Nintendo had their panel. And, dude, it's so crazy, but the Nintendo Switch games and Sega Genesis games are coming to the Nintendo Switch, and they are coming out with controllers for them, too.
And Sega Genesis?
And Sega Genesis.
I wonder how they fucking made that deal happen. That's interesting.
That is very interesting, and it just goes to show PlayStation is not for the gamers.
Hey man, enemy of my enemy is a friend, right?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
they were, Genesis and Nintendo, or Sega and Nintendo were bitter rivals, back in the 90s. But they're not up against each other anymore. They're up against fucking Microsoft and fucking Sony.
Yeah,
so.
And Nintendo has been merging with Microsoft too. So it's what's going on here?
Sony, I think. Well, we've called it, dude. I think Sony's nosediving. I think they. I'll tell you, if Sony was the fucking army, okay, this would be like the equivalent of like your division commander making some really really bad fucking calls. And so now you've got all these sub battalions, and companies and platoons moving in all the wrong directions, basically, and they're about to get fucking overrun. You know what I mean? Like, still have not seen a single Sony game, let alone like anything that makes me want to give a fuck about buying a PS5.
Yeah.
I have not seen the first fucking. That system has been out for a year. You know that, right?
Yeah.
PS5 has been out for a fucking year. Like there's no games for it. It doesn't. Nothing has rocked anybody's socks off that they're talking about.
Listen, the one game that I wanted on PlayStation came to Xbox already, and that was MLB The Show. So
there you go.
And it's so cool because now on top of that, the Switch, they're coming out with a Sega Genesis controller for the Switch, and they're coming out with a Nintendo 64 controller for the fucking Switch. This is great, And
it is.
The remotes are wireless. They feel comfortable. They look good, and
this is like the kind of thing like kids can play in the backseat of the fucking car when they like go on road trips and shit, huh?
Yep.
God fucking damn it, dude.
Yep, they did it, man. And on top of that, along with that reveal, they have revealed the cast for the Super Mario movie.
Oh boy, yeah, I remember seeing this. So I want you to talk about it because I definitely have a couple of opinions about it. So.
Okay, so we're going to go through the list here. So the list is Chris Pratt as Super Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, Bowser is Jack Black, and Donkey Kong will be played by Seth Rogen, and Toad will be played by Keegan-Michael Key. And Cranky Kong will be played by Fred Armisen. And then, yeah.
This sounds like an... Okay, so I'm way out of date with a lot of stuff, right? So I just saw Nikki showed me Grown Ups the other night, the Adam Sandler movie.
Hilarious.
It was. I'd never seen it, but I was realizing where all the jokes come from. Watching it though, where people joke about Adam Sandler like making movies just so him and his friends can fucking hang out or do something.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the cast for fucking this Mario game sounds like. That it's like Chris Pratt and fucking Seth Rogen and like. It's like they're just gonna like
Jack Black, Keegan Key.
Dude, they're gonna fucking just smoke pot in the sound booth and just laugh and make funny noises. That's all they're gonna do.
And it's so cool because like this isn't the cast that I would have chosen, but it's the cast that I'm okay with.
Right.
It's not a bad cast at all. I mean, I don't know who the fuck Anya Taylor-Joy is, and I'm pretty sure they could have picked
some. Oh my god, she's an actress. She's got She has she's very pretty, but she has one of those like really unique faces where like you recognize her as soon as you see her.
Okay.
Like she's a very pretty young lady, but she has a very unique face. Like,
and that's probably why they chose her.
She might have a nice voice. I don't watch a lot. I haven't really seen any of her movies, but
yeah,
she might have a nice voice. I don't know.
Yeah,
Chris Pratt for Mario. Like, I want to know how they're gonna. Are they just gonna have Mario sound like a dude from Jersey or what? Because I'm like,
so I actually got into a conversation because I also produce the Late Brunch podcast, and this conversation.
You guys are doing fantastic, by the way.
I appreciate that. They're stressing me out.
Fucking stressing. Stop stressing them out, Gio. What the fuck? Dude?
Clean Sanchez and Joe too.
Yeah, Joe, you fuck.
Gio and Joey, fucking assholes.
Joe and fucking Joey.
Fucking
bunch of fucking pricks. Dude. Like, can you guys stop stressing John out? Fucking please, dude. We're trying to have a podcast
here. They put me in a porta potty with a glory hole in it.
Shut the fuck up. Did they really?
If you watch the YouTube of the show, you never see me. You never see me on camera, but I am inside of a porta potty that has with a glory hole in it. So you see,
is that a thing out east? Like, are there glory holes like a thing out there? Like, I've never really seen a public glory hole. Like, only time I ever saw one was in Afghanistan.
Oh shit! What the fuck? Oh,
I saw a glory hole in Afghanistan. No shit.
Oh my fucking god!
In our bathroom, by the way, our bathroom. Swear to God, dude, can't make this shit up. Couldn't make this shit up if I was fucking trying.
Oh man! So to answer that, I think it is because McGreevy went to a bunch of them over, and McGreevy, if you guys don't know, was our governor a couple years back, and he got in trouble for having sex in the bathrooms of the rest stops. So
they exist, obviously.
So they exist. They're out there. They're not.
And they must be enticing if the governor of the fucking state wants to get his dick sucked in one. It's got to be good. I got to imagine it's good.
Him and his wife. Apparently, him and his wife were getting down. So.
That's what's up. Oh, so she. Oh.
Yeah, they were. There was this.
That's what's up.
This was.
Even gooder.
Yeah, I have to send you that link. It was a very interesting thing. But yeah, this is the treatment that I get. They put me in the porta potty. They, they tell me to press these buttons. It's leaking inside the porta potty. It's just.
Why don't they just make you sign up for another 4 years in the fucking army? I mean, Jesus Christ. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you, Gio and Joey? What the fuck, dude? Treat John like that. Look, I'm gonna come out to Jersey and fuck you guys up.
No, but yeah, so we got into this conversation the other day about it, and so one thing that we all grew up on is that Super Mario was from Brooklyn. He was from New York.
Right.
Yeah, he's from Italy. But, from what I understand, growing up, he was from New York.
I remember that being part of some of the lore back in like the early to mid 90s. That was kind of the lore. If Mario was actually in existence, he'd be like a plumber in Brooklyn, basically.
Yeah. Right. So I'm kind of hoping that we kind of get a little bit of that. That's what I'm kind of hoping for.
Do you remember the shitty ass like Super Mario Brothers show back in the day with Captain Lou Albano?
Dude, that shit. It's funny because I can't remember. I was watching it like maybe 2 years ago, give or take maybe 2 years ago. It's on like Pluto or something like that.
It's on fucking. You can watch it on YouTube. I mean, it's definitely not aged well, but it is very nostalgic. It is very nostalgic, though.
Yeah, and I mean, to have Captain Lou Albino do it, it's actually kind of interesting.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Now,
God rest that man. So.
Yeah, we also have Charlie Day as Luigi. Interesting choice. I mean, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But Jack Black as Bowser, I don't think that could have been any more perfect than what that is, because that's pretty fucking perfect.
I could see him doing it. And that's definitely coming from a guy who's I'm not a big Jack Black fan, but
yeah, same here.
Well, but the whole, I tell you what, the whole rest of the world fucking loves his ass. So like, I'm not going to talk shit because apparently I'm in the minority of not being a big Jack Black or Tenacious D fan.
Same here. And it's not that I'm not talking down on them. There's just I like a couple of their songs. What's that? What's your favorite dish?
Like teamwork. It's fucking teamwork. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's funny. I'm not talking shit about it. Again, same as fucking what's his dick, the guitarist for fucking Nirvana.
Yeah.
Jack Black already won this fight, dude. Like I can say whatever I want, and he doesn't. He's already won. You know what I mean? Like he already did his thing. Like I can't really talk shit. It's just I'm not a big fan. That's it. Like didn't get into like his movies with the the kids where he's trying to be a music teacher and that dumbass caveman movie, like shit. I don't. That's so. And then his characters in the movies that I have seen when he plays these other characters like Tropic Thunder, I was just like, God, can somebody just fucking.
See, Tropic Thunder is probably the only thing.
Brain,
yeah, the only I could stand him in Tropic Thunder. He was hilarious in Tropic Thunder, but that's about it. I can't really get into him any more than that.
My favorite scene with Jack Black is in a movie called The Jackal, starring Bruce Willis, and he gets his fucking arm blown off with a fucking 50 cal before Bruce Willis like finishes the job. That's my favorite scene of Jack Black. He's like holding up a pack of cigarettes and like Bruce Willis pulls the trigger and like blows his arm off. And then Bruce Willis is like, get in front of the car before you pass out, so you can like shoot the car. And like fucking like he like staggers in front of the car.
Oh,
and Bruce Willis
man!
fucking, like, destroys him with a fucking 50 cal, dude. Like, it's badass.
Oh man! Next in the news, Putin says that the vaccine is as reliable as an AK-47.
First off, I don't even know what that fucking means. Like. Second off, fuck Putin. You know, like period. Fuck Russia in general. You know what I mean? Like just fuck him.
Fuck the Kalashnikov.
The government. Fuck the Russian government. Not the people. It's a beautiful people. There's actually a couple places in Russia I would love to fucking visit someday. Oh yeah. But I never will. Yeah. Because I'm not gonna. No.
I'd love to see Red Square. I'd love to see fucking St. Petersburg.
There's two locations I want to see in Russia, in person, and they're both in the same city. They're both in Volgograd, which is formerly Stalingrad.
Yep.
And there's the motherland statue, and then there is Pavlov's house. So Jacob Pavlov was a guy with basically a small contingent of Russians in this one house, this one like apartment building, held off basically an entire German field army for 2 months. Was it 39 days or 2 months? Why is the number 39 popping into my head? I think it was 2 months. But yeah, whatever. But they held off an entire field army, basically like 50,000 people. You know, that's what you would consider a field army. For months, like literal months, like, and that house still exists. That building exists. I literally just want to go see it. That's it. It's called Pavlov's house, like, because they held it out when they found German officer maps after that portion of the battle. They had Pavlov's house identified with an icon of a castle, basically.
Shit.
They literally, dude, they fucked them up.
That's fucking crazy. And yeah, now from what I understand, the automatic Kalashnikov 47 is not reliable at all.
I don't necessarily agree with them. I don't necessarily agree with that.
So it is kind of reliable.
What you're fucking doing, it is. I mean, if you don't hold it over your head and fucking spray and pray. I mean, any weapon, it's a 7.62. Okay, so the bullet flies fast enough that if you have a decent enough barrel on your weapon, in theory, the bullet flies fast enough that for the first 3 to probably 600 meters, that bullet's gonna go where you tell it. So really, like, how inaccurate is it? It is not meant to be a long range weapon. It's a mid range weapon, basically. It's what I would call a mid range small arm. It's a small arm, but it's mid range.
Yeah, it's definitely one you want to use in a Call of Duty game.
You could, yeah, I mean, absolutely. That was my go-to. I mean, all I did was soup up a fucking AK-47 in Modern Warfare, and like, because as long as the 7.62 round is big enough that it will fucking do what it needs to do between you and the target.
Absolutely.
As long as that target isn't fucking like 800 meters away. I mean, if you're a good marksman with your weapon, that shouldn't be an issue. So fuck Vladimir. Why are we even having this conversation? Fuck Vladimir.
Yeah. I just thought it was very funny because
you're right. You totally got me on one now because fuck him, dude. Like, fuck him.
Yeah. So on to the next. UFC 266 is tonight. I am fucking pumped.
You sound fucking pumped. I want to hear. All right. I want to hear where you're gonna go starting. Yeah, I want to hear your voice on this one.
Okay,
first.
so first up, before I even get to the main card, the prelims of Dan Hooker is fighting Nasrat Hakparast. I don't know why Dan Hooker is in the prelims. We all know we get it. Okay, the guy lost a match not too long ago, in stunning style too. Okay, my bad. Now, why Dan Hooker's on the prelim, I don't get it. But he's not even the main event on the prelim. Marlon Moraes is against Merab Davashvili. I think Davashvili is going to wipe the floor with Marlon Moraes, and I also think Dan Hooker is going to beat Nasrat Haqparast.
I would also take Hooker in that fight.
Yeah.
I don't know about the first one. I'm not versed enough to really.
Yeah. So I mean, we're looking at, before I get to the main event, we're gonna go down. We got Jessica Andrade and Cynthia Carvalho. The odds for Jessica Andrade, she's considered the underdog with a negative 280. Cynthia Carvalho, if I remember correctly, I believe this may be a rematch that I think Carvalho may have won the last time. I don't remember, but I think Carvalho's gonna win this one. Watched a couple fights with her. She's pretty nasty. Jessica Andrade, on the other hand, is she's got some fucking hands on her, man. So this is gonna be a fun fight. This is gonna be a fun fight to open up the main card. Then we got Curtis Blades and Rosenstruck. What
do you got? What do you got?
I like them both. I like them both. I really like Rosenstruck, but I really think Curtis Blades is going to take this one.
You're not going to hear me argue with you, but I wouldn't. This is not a fight I would bet on. That is not the fight I would bet on.
Yeah,
that's coin flip.
Exactly.
Coin flip.
Yeah. Next we have the one. I mean, I get why it's not the main event, but they just should have had a separate pay-per-view for this. But Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler.
Here we go. This
is probably the most. Actually, it's not probably. It is the most interesting fight on the card.
Obviously.
Okay. Obviously. Robbie Lawler hasn't been looking too good. You know, and I'm not counting his loss to Ben Askren. I'm not counting that.
Okay.
Nick Diaz hasn't fought in
years.
Buku fucking years.
Yeah.
Now, I've been watching a lot of interviews with the two of them. They both, I mean, Nick Diaz, he's got like this weird calm to him that's very scary. And he said it's hard to bring back gangster during these times. But you know, it's hard to bring back gangster. So that just goes to show me that he understands it's not the early 2000s anymore. He understands it's a different ball game. He
is the onus in this fight. So let's back up probably not even a half step, like a quarter step.
Yeah.
In the first fight, Robbie Lawler was heavily favored to win. Okay, and so that little flash knockout from Diaz's jab to Lawler's chin, was very unexpected. Diaz keeping the fight on the feet was unexpected. Diaz fucking dominating on the feet was unexpected.
Absolutely.
But that fight was 17 years ago. That is not to take away anything from Nick Diaz or Robbie Lawler. Here's the problem that I see for Nick Diaz in this fight is not that whether or not he can win. He can definitely win. So obviously, just like Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler could win too, right? Obviously. Duh. But the problem is not whether or not Nick Diaz can win. Is can Nick Diaz basically bring himself to the 2021 MMA era? He has not fought for several years, and it's not the same anymore. You're not the dude's my age. You know what I'm saying? Like Nick Diaz is like the same age as me. Same with Robbie Lawler.
He's not a young buck, yeah.
No shit. You got to work about twice as hard to get about half or three quarters as far. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what level you're at. I mean, we're talking here. Obviously, he's kept himself in good shape all these years. Of course, he has. But you're not. But the recovery time, and keeping yourself that way, it doesn't get any easier the older you get. So the onus on this fight is actually on Nick Diaz because he hasn't fought. We haven't seen him in the fucking cage in that long. Lawler is fucking Lawler. The dude has been a fucking beast. The dude has been a fucking beast his entire goddamn career. Literally his entire
win or lose
career. To include probably one of the greatest fights of all time. I probably definitely in my top 5, easily in my top 5 is the UFC 189 fight against Rory McDonald. You know, when him and Rory McDonald had that fucking war, you know, and who came out on top in that fight?
Yeah.
Robbie Lawler.
Yep.
You know, when he welcomes Ben Askren to the fucking UFC by dumping his ass on his head. You know what I mean? That's fucking Robbie Lawler. Like, the dude is a fucking animal.
That was great.
The dude's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
This is Robbie Lawler's fight to lose. Right?
Yeah.
So the onus is on Nick Diaz, but again, I'm favoring Lawler in this fight.
Yeah, and right now Lawler is gatekeeping too.
But don't in a million years let anybody think that, like, I'm not calling this fight for Lawler. I'm saying I think he's probably got a better chance of winning. But I'm not making that's not my prediction though, because Nick Diaz is Nick fucking Diaz.
Yeah.
So whether he fought 6 years ago or he fought yesterday, the dude he's also his own type of animal. He's Stockton 209. Him and his brother don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like the dude's been fucking sitting on his ass fucking for the last like however many years. You know he's been doing shit. You know he's been doing shit.
Now
he's still Nick fucking Diaz.
So that was your prediction. So my prediction is we're gonna end in controversial fashion.
Oh boy.
That's what I think is gonna happen. I think someone's gonna throw either an elbow, someone's gonna get poked in the eye. I think we're gonna end either in a no contest or we're gonna have a controversial finish. I can't.
You don't think it'll go the distance?
I don't think it'll go the distance. This fight, I don't think so.
I don't know if Robbie Lawler can make it 25 minutes anymore.
He probably can't. But
I guarantee you Nick Diaz can, because they're like, him and his brother are all about cardio and fucking, you know.
Yeah, I mean he's his damn coach. I mean, if you're your own brother's coach and you're not in shape, then you're not setting a good influence for your fighters, for your athletes. So, you know, I think that's another thing that people need to remember too. He's always in Nate's corner. He's always training with him, so he's in good shape. The next 100%. Fight is actually going to be really fun. Valentina Shevchenko, versus Lauren Murphy.
I got Shevchenko all day.
How do you bet against her? How do you bet against her? I
never will. Not until she starts pulling some Holly Holm shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like, losing fights she has no business losing. Like,
exactly.
Shevchenko has never lost a fight she had no business losing.
Yeah.
As of right now, I say that as all the fights that she has lost to a better fighter that night.
And it's not to take away from Lauren Murphy. She's number 3 in the ranks.
Yeah,
a hell of a fighter.
Absolutely.
American. You know, I believe she's part of American Top Team as well. You know, one of the most American teams out there, which I love. You know, so, you know, always with the Americans, but I think we need to go with reality here. Shevchenko is a fucking beast.
She is.
You know, she's doing ballet one day and then shooting pistols the next. Okay, like this shit is not fucking, like, this isn't child's play here. Like,
she ain't playing, dude. She didn't come here to fuck around.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the pattern that area of fighters have. Look at all these Russian fighters. You got Russian, you Kazakhstan, the Middle East. You know, that area, Georgia. They love to fight, and they're fucking good at it. You know, and then we have the main event. Brian T. City Ortega versus Alexander the Great Volkanovski. If you guys, the Ultimate Fighter came back, and it was with them two hosting it. Got to watch a couple replays and stuff of it. Holy shit, this is gonna be a hell of a fight. They got into each other's heads. They got into each other's necks. They're accusing each other of taking steroids. The press conference was hot as hell. Woo! It was hot as hell.
Yeah.
This is gonna be, you know, I think this is their third rematch, their third fight. This shit is gonna be fucking crazy. Brian Ortega, I mean, one hell of a fighter. Alexander Volkanovski, another hell of a fucking fighter. Who's going to win? I'm saying TKO in the 4th. Brian Ortega.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be taking Volk on that one, dude. So I think, yeah, we're gonna have to see how this one ends up, because I'm taking Volkanovski.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great card. It's great card. It's got a mixture of really good fighters. I love it when the females are shown on the main card. You know, we got two fights with them showing up, opening the show, which I think that opener for the main card is going to be fucking solid. I think it's going to be real solid. That's going to be a hell of a fight, that first one. The Nick I for some odd reason I feel like the Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler fight's going to lack in action, but I think Shevchenko and Murphy are going to duke it out. TC,
I don't know that the Lawler Diaz fight's going to be lacking in action. I really don't. I don't see either of them.
I want to be wrong.
Based on some of the kind of like older, like legend fights that we've seen in like some of the legend fights that we've seen recently, you're not wrong. A lot of them have been very lacking, but these two have not really ever done that in their careers. So Nick Diaz has a style where sometimes he'll try to make people come to him. You know what I mean? Which can become boring.
Yeah.
But I don't see.
That's what I'm afraid of.
I don't see him doing that against Robbie Lawler, and I don't see Robbie Lawler allowing that to happen.
Interesting.
I see Lawler pushing the pace in the beginning, especially like first 2 rounds at least. I see Lawler pushing the pace. Diaz probably finding his rhythm. And then once Diaz fucking finds his rhythm, round 2, round 3, and on from there, I see it becoming a war. I really do. I do not think these two are capable.
Interesting.
I don't think these two are capable of having a boring fight with each other. I really don't. I hope you're wrong.
I hope I am wrong. I hope I am wrong. You know, there just seems to be a pattern with these fights sometimes. You know, and no, that's the pattern that we see. And while we're talking about patterns, before we get to our final segment, I mean, are you following what's going on with John Jones?
Yes, this fucking cocksucker, dude. Motherfucking piece of shit, dude. This dude is like such a fucking piece of shit, dude. Like he cannot. This guy has had the most self-destructive career in the fucking history of MMA.
Not only is he 11-0 in the UFC, but he's fucking 11-0 with the justice system too. Like, god damn. So I mean, you get inducted into the Hall of Fame. You wake up the next day in a fucking jail cell. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Partying in Vegas, I guess.
I don't know. Well, so have you seen the charges?
All I saw was domestic.
Okay, so domestic battery and tampering with a vehicle, which is.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but from what I've read, it's a felony. It's like an automatic felony.
Oh, that kind of tampering.
Yeah.
Like the kind of tampering where like it could fucking endanger somebody's life.
That's what it sounds like. That's Jesus what it sounds like.
Fucking Christ, dude. Fuck you, dude. Fuck him.
You know, going into the Hall of Fame and then getting arrested a few hours later is the most John Jones thing you could fucking do. And even Dana White said we can't bring him to Las Vegas. Every time he comes to Las Vegas, he gets in trouble. I mean, dude. And then, like, right after the induction, he says, yeah, I'm just going to focus on doing less controversial shit. Well, good fucking job. Good fucking job. Way to go, slugger. You have, in the past 8 years, maybe 8 years, or maybe 10 years, he's had 8 events of failed drug tests and arrests.
Correct.
And let's not forget about his little incident with him shooting a gun in the air just a couple months ago.
Right. And that's like, I don't know. I'm on like.
You want to root? You want to root for somebody, man. You want to.
Like, God damn! It's like I don't understand if what I hate about him the most is the hypocrisy. Like you're probably one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. His resume of the fight of his
oh my
his
God.
His resume in the UFC is a who's who of light heavyweight champions, and he wrecked them all.
In beautiful fashion.
But it's like, don't be a fucking hypocrite, man. If you're kind of a shitbag on the outside, like, at least own it. At least own it. Don't pretend you're this fucking good dude when you're not. You know, like Daniel Cormier has called him out on this a million times. It's just like, you're not a good person. Like, just at least just own up to it. The fact that you're a piece of shit in real life. You know what I mean? Like, you're just genuinely not a good person.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It comes to a point when, you know, okay, you start feeling bad for somebody because, you know, oh,
right.
maybe they had a bad upbringing. Maybe they're you know, maybe they're younger. They don't know better. No, this guy's in his 30s, early 30s.
Yep.
You know, getting in fucking trouble.
Has the world at his fingertips too. Like he could go and be and do probably whatever he wants at this point because of his success in the ring, you know, in the octagon. And to be that big of a fucking piece of shit when you're already fucking successful, basically, like.
Yeah. Now, if you're ESPN and you want to hire a fighter to be a caster, a sportscaster, who are you looking at? John Jones?
No, fuck no.
And it's a shame because he's so smart. He's fucking smart.
But here's the shitty part. I say fuck no. Bet fucking money though that eventually someday down the road you're probably gonna see him as one. Somebody's gonna fucking break down. It might not be ESPN, but somebody's gonna fucking break down and have him on the commentary team for a pay-per-view or fucking whatever. I don't think the UFC is ever gonna go away, but I think the UFC is gonna start losing a lot of market share in the next 5 years because they are fucking their fighters over so bad. Somebody's eventually just gonna fucking hire John Jones, because he's available. You know what I mean? And fuck him. Like straight up, just fuck him, dude. Like John Jones is like that dude who was kind of cool, but kind of a prick when you were in high school, and then you got out of high school and you went through college, and then you came back and like, you know, visited your hometown after you came back from college, and he was like still there, still up to the same bullshit,
still
like,
on the block,
still fucking and now he's like in full douche mode versus like he was kind of cool. Where he was kind of cool back in high school, he's just in like full douche mode now. You know what I mean? Like he's a grown adult douche, basically. You're fucking douche. Fuck him, dude.
Definitely not coming into the army. I'll tell you that much.
No.
Or maybe he fucking should.
Yeah, right. Or maybe he should bring that motherfucker down to like our level.
Yeah. So
right?
now I got a nice little article here for us to end the show with. Well, it's a couple things that we're gonna talk about some regulations right now. Some funny, some a little out of this world. Okay. The first one is dueling. You cannot duel. Dueling isn't allowed in the U.S. military. You cannot pull out your sword, pistol, or even your fist and challenge someone who has wronged you to duel. According to the manual, any person subject to this chapter who fights or promotes or is concerned in or connives of fighting a duel, or who, having knowledge of a challenge sent or about to be sent, fails to report the fact promptly to the proper authority, shall be punished as a court-martial may direct.
So I've heard, I'm familiar with that aspect of the regulation in UCMJ. Here's the thing, it gets overlooked quite often. You know, it doesn't happen all the time, and I don't even want to say it's common. But when I was junior enlisted, and this is just me as a mechanic. So this is before I even went over to like the combat arms side, because on the combat arms side it's way different, you know, and probably more extreme. But when I was a mechanic, you know, sometimes you saw a couple dudes just go out to the wood line and fucking do their thing, and fucking whatever they did out there, they did, and they came back, it was over. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not very common these days. I want to say, like, you know, 2020, 2021, like this era, because it wasn't very common back then even. But every once in a while, like I was witness and privy to it a couple of times where it was like, you two go do your fucking thing, and when you're done, come back and hurry and while you're at it, hurry the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because we got shit to do, and we can't have you guys fucking.
Yeah, there goes regulation, and there also goes being a human being too. You know,
correct.
Some
there's
people.
such a thing as. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some people like to talk it out. Some people like to fight it out, and they feel a hell of a lot better after that.
If both people are okay with fighting it out, I mean, the big thing with fighting it out is people get hurt. That's the big problem.
And then you have to explain it.
That's why in the Army it's not very common anymore. It wasn't really. I don't want to say it was common even when I was junior enlisted a decade ago, because it wasn't common. It still happened once in a while, but it was not common.
Yeah, I actually.
And if senior leadership had caught wind of it, everybody's ass would have been grass.
Yeah,
so.
I actually witnessed an incident. I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but
I felt the same. I felt the same about sharing mine.
Yeah, listen, guys. Here's the thing, and I tell all my friends this: if you tell me something, I'm gonna air it out on the show. I am the tea spiller. I am the guy that ruins your life. So don't tell me anything that you don't want to be aired. So I witnessed a senior enlisted NCO argue with a PFC, even threatening to take off his uniform and go to the back of the building. And I don't know if it happened or not. I don't know what happened after that, but all I know is that both of those guys didn't work at that building ever again, and I didn't see them after that. So,
yeah, it is taken seriously.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's some, and this is not a one-upping thing at all. Like, it's just some of the times I've been privy to or witness to. That's pretty much exactly what happened. People took their tops off and did their thing, and then as soon as the thing was over, we're going back to work, and we're not talking about it, and it's over.
Yep.
And that's it. That's how it's supposed to go. A dude getting his skull cracked or teeth knocked out or nose broken or leg, knee damaged or whatever. Like, that's not. We're talking about a little scuffle here. We're not talking about bashing somebody's head in with a fucking rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's. But that's also exactly why those rules are in place, to avoid people being injured, basically.
Yeah, we actually.
In that context.
Yeah, we actually used to, real quick before we get to the next regulation, we used to do this thing in boot camp called, because we lived in the bays. We had this thing called Bay-per-view.
Bay-per-view?
Yeah, so we had a fight club inside of our bay. And we would set up these fights. If anyone had beef or anyone had tension, you guys had to duke it out like men. And everyone was around you, like the good old fucking days, cheered you on and helped you out if you got up. And me and this one guy, I want to say that I felt like we had some tension, and it was a pretty even matchup because it ended in a draw. Okay. But after I had that moment with that one individual, me and him shook hands and just had that respect for each other.
Right.
And I'm not saying, guys, don't do pay-per-views in fucking boot camp, because we had one guy who had a fucking black eye, and his story was that he slipped in the bathroom and his face hit the sink. But we all know what fucking happened, all right? So the next regulation is toe sneakers. The doctrine specifically states only those shoes that accommodate all 5 toes in one compartment are authorized for wear. Those shoes that feature 5 separate individual compartments for the toes detract from a professional military image and are prohibited for wear with the improved physical fitness uniform or when conducting physical training in military formation.
So basically, you're talking about those trail running shoes, like the minimum impact, the minimal impact shoes that they're like the minimalist shoes, basically. They weigh nothing. And they've got those shoes you're not allowed to wear. That's correct.
Very, very interesting interesting stuff. And a lot of these things I'm just learning myself. Under 134, service members are not allowed to intentionally jump ship. If you fall, that's fine, but the act of entering the water cannot have been willfully done. If a service member is held guilty of jumping from a vessel into a water, he can be punished with a bad conduct discharge, forfeiture of allowances and pay, and 6 months of confinement.
Why do you think that is? I know the answer, but why do you think that is?
Let me intelligently think about this.
This is mainly obviously a Navy and a Coast Guard rule, but go ahead.
I want to say that there may be a suicide thing involved there. I don't know.
I wouldn't go the suicide route, but you're not wrong with the death part.
Oh well, obviously they don't want anyone to fucking die. You know, that's one.
And you're in the fucking ocean, and like you're in the fucking ocean. Like you're surrounded by like nothing for miles and nothing for miles below you except water
and like, animals that will probably eat you.
If somebody goes overboard, you know, on any ship, let alone like God, dude, you can die from jumping in the water off an aircraft carrier. It's that big. Like you can jump off the deck. If you jump off the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, you can kill yourself. Like you can die hitting the water.
Shit.
Like that's how far above the water the fucking deck of the aircraft carrier is. Like people don't realize the sheer magnitude of the size of these ships. But even on like let's say a Coast Guard vessel, let's say like a little Coast Guard, like a little cutter, you know, that goes and like hunts down fucking drug runners, right?
Yeah.
When somebody jumps off ship, and especially if you do it on purpose, you got to stop everything and like swing back around and fucking do all this shit. Like where the fuck are they? You know, if it's choppy seas or bad waters, like you can't see people. Like there's motherfuckers that wear like bright orange suits, and you'll be lost in the ocean.
Yeah.
You're a speck.
And then to consider the proper prep time needed to get a boat to get down there to save you.
You will fucking like you can. You're endangering not only your life, but you're endangering the entire
the boat,
the fleet, whatever you're with. It's all like, yeah, you're gonna get kicked the fuck out. Like it's basically like failing a drug test. You know what I mean? Like you're a fucking idiot for doing that on purpose. Fuck you. You know. So they take that shit pretty fucking seriously.
Yeah. The next one is pens. I was actually familiar with this. The pen consists of 7 different parts and meets 16 pages of military specs, including that it be able to write for a mile with no fading and withstand temperatures up to 160 degrees and down to 40 degrees below zero. Its use dates all the way back to the Great Depression.
Yep.
That is a very interesting one. I remember hearing about this one, just thinking, okay, well that's a little fucking stupid. But after actually using a pen while walking during a march, you start to see that, depending on the weather, it doesn't look good. You have ink smudging.
Yep.
You know, and on top of that, for example, if it's really fucking hot. And they have, for those who don't know, they actually have notebooks, waterproof notepads that they give you. Yep, there you go. They give you waterproof notepads in boot camp. And with that, you know, let's say you're writing something with a pen and it's raining, that stuff is going to smudge off. So the importance of having a pen, and we're not talking about a $10 pen. A fucking Bic pen does the fucking work, because apparently they knew the standard. You know, but that's a very interesting regulation, but it's also very useful, because if you have smudged ink and you're in the middle of a wooded area like the Korengal Valley, you're gonna need that.
That is exactly why there's a regulation covering fucking pens, right? Like it sounds very mundane and humdrum and kind of like, why the fuck would you even need a But the reality is, you can't just have any old pen. If you're training in Alaska, you know, you're doing that Arctic shit. You know what I mean? Like, it gets like 40 below zero. Like, you need to have a way to write shit down.
Yeah.
Your pen needs to be able to work. So.
Yeah. And I mean, ink freezes, people. Ink freezes.
It sure does.
The next one I can't believe is actually a regulation, but it's drinking liquor with prisoners. If you're standing post and guarding a prisoner, you aren't supposed to give him or her booze. We thought this one was pretty weird, but the existence of such a law makes us think that someone somewhere must have actually done this one. But why? The punishment for this is 3 months of forfeiture of 2/3 pay per month for 3 months.
Damn.
That's harsh.
Right. Well, and we haven't had to take prisoners for quite some time, as far as like a massive amount like a massive amount of prisoners that would necessitate like a camp or a guard, right? But this, I'd say it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, yes, obviously somebody probably fucking fucked that one up, like in whatever war decades and decades ago. But yeah, obviously you're supposed to feed your prisoners, give them water, you know, treat them humanely, whatever. you don't fucking feed them booze, okay? You don't give the prisoners goddamn booze. I mean, come on. But let's be realistic.
Yeah, guys, don't give the prisoners alcohol. That's against the regulations. The next one is indecent language. If you've served or even know someone who has, you know that this law is complete bullshit. Still, under paragraph 89 of Article 134, indecent language is prohibited within the military. What's more, under Article 88, service members are not permitted to voice contempt against an official, meaning enlisted or lower-ranked persons than a particular official, or are forbidden from using derogatory words against important officials. This includes derogation that is verbal, written, and even posted to social media sites.
Correct. That is all correct. And they say it's bullshit in that article that you're reading, but the reality is, I used to call these little specific parts of the UCMJ, I call them tack-on charges. So it's like your original charge is not going to be indecent language. However, if in the process of doing whatever your actual offense was, the first thing, you used indecent language, they can tack indecent language onto it, and basically skull fuck you that much harder. That's like the in General Order Number 1 in Afghanistan. It's the main thing is it's no alcohol, right? But there's a secondary part of General Order Number 1, which is porn. We're not supposed to have porn in Afghanistan. Everybody knows we bring fucking porn to Afghanistan, right? Like we got like terabytes of porn, okay, in Afghanistan, right? Nobody gets in trouble for it, right? So why is it a rule? Well, when somebody fucks up and let's say like they get caught in their hooch with something they shouldn't have, and then they find porn too, they can charge them with that first thing that they got caught with and then tack the porn charge onto it. Even though everybody knows it's a bullshit rule, it's a tack on. It's like it's to make sure that like when we want to get you in trouble, you're going to get in trouble, and we're going to make sure that the trouble we get you in sticks. So it's a tack on charge. So then it's it's the same with the one you were just talking about with the what did you say it was? It was the obscene language.
Yep.
Yeah, indecent or obscene language. It's just a tack. That's a tack on charge. So you'll never see somebody crucified in UCMJ because they said fuck.
Yes.
But you might see somebody crucified because they did something else, and while they were doing something else, they said
cursed
fuck.
out. Roger that. That explains it. The next one is, and I have a funny story about this one. Obscene mail. Be careful sending porn magazines in the mail. Under paragraph 94 in the Manual for Court Martial, service members caught depositing or causing obscene materials to be sent in the mail can face dishonorable discharge, forfeiture of allowances, and 5 years of confinement. The military defines obscene or indecent materials as language that grossly offends a person's decency, propriety, or modesty, or which can shock a person's moral sense because of its filthy, disgusting, or vulgar nature or tendency to cause lustful thoughts is called indecent.
Tendency to cause lustful thoughts.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of my face with that bullshit. Oh my god. Hell to the fuck no. Like, let's keep that shit in the fucking mailbox, okay? Don't a tendency to have lustful thoughts. I'm a fucking dude. This fucking can looks like a big dick to me, dude. Like, it's fucking. Let's go use it on something. Yeah.
Let's go regulate a can of beer then.
Yeah, no shit, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah. I kind of get the mail thing, but that's all. I think that's a product of the time.
It's actually funny. So a funny story. When I was in boot camp, my wife sent me dirty photos to me, and the funny thing is that other people got caught with dirty photos that their wives sent them, but not me, because she only sent like 6 or 7 photos, and they didn't even look at in fact, there was like minuscule amount of photos that they thought it was like 1 or 2. They didn't even look through them, and they were just all right, yeah. They bent it, and they were like, okay, here you go. And when I opened it up, and I saw my wife's bare ass, I was like, hell yeah. And I was like, oh shit, I need to hide these photos right fucking now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's good shit though, dude. But that's all they would have made you do. I doubt they would have even taken those from you. They probably would have just made you do a shitload of push-ups.
Yep. The next one is one that a lot of people, this is a serious one, a lot of people don't know this one, especially those who are going into the Army. Adultery. Cheating on your spouse can get you kicked out of the military altogether, among other possible punishments. While not a unique law to the military, 21 states have anti-adultery laws on the books that are rarely enforced. Commanders do sometimes charge service members with this crime. Still, adultery charges are a bit hard to stick since they can be difficult to prove. But your punishment for that is dishonorable discharge and forfeiture of all pay and allowances and confinement for 1 year.
Possibly, yeah, depending. But so here's the cheat code for that. If you find yourself in the military and you find yourself in a extramarital affair for whatever reason, because I want to remind everybody that not every extramarital affair is what I would consider cheating. And let me clarify this statement. Let's say two people have decided they're going to get a divorce. Okay, some states have laws on the books that you have to be separated for a year before you can file for divorce. Okay, let's say North Carolina, right? Fort Bragg's in North Carolina. That's a giant fucking army base, right? Yeah. 82nd, whatever. In North Carolina, you have to be separated for a fucking year before you can even file for fucking divorce, let alone the proceedings and everything else. You have to be separated, literally separated for a year before you can even file. If you and your partner have decided to call it quitsies, and you are separated, right? Or you're in the process of separating and it's an amicable separation. Like, we're just not going to be married anymore. But you got to wait a fucking year before you can even file, before anything even starts happening.
Shit.
We're human beings. We like fucking. Okay, I'm just saying. We like fucking. That's technically adultery because you're still married. But no, you were just doing what the state said and fucking waiting a year before you filed for divorce. I mean, that's really what it comes in. That's still considered adultery because you were still legally married. So here's the cheat code for anyone in the military. If you're accused of adultery, fucking tell whatever branch you're serving, prove it. If you ain't got no pictures, you ain't got no fucking videos, like if the person that you're boinking doesn't talk to the Army and doesn't give them any information, they have to prove it. And it's very hard to prove. If you say, no, I didn't, prove it. No, I didn't. I didn't do anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Fuck off. Prove it.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you ask for the only people I've ever seen charged with adultery are the ones who admitted it. They admitted it.
And lost their career over it.
Kids, don't say shit when the cops are talking to you. Keep your fucking mouth shut. It's called you have Miranda rights.
And don't cheat on your spouse either. Don't forget that one, Jay.
First off, definitely don't cheat on your fucking spouse. But anytime you're talking to the fucking cops, dude, like, keep your fucking mouth shut, dude. Like, you have in the military, you have what's called Article 31 rights. Article 31 rights are equivalent to Miranda rights. You don't have to fucking say shit. There was a time, I'm not going to get into specifics, I had a platoon sergeant. There was an incident. I had a platoon sergeant take me into his fucking office. And this dude was like, okay, what happened? And I was like, no, dude, sorry. And this dude got fucking hot. I'm talking like the dude lost his shit, screaming at me. And I was like, okay, I'm still not saying anything. I'm not saying anything about any of this. Without other people present or fucking, I'm not going on the record about anything right now. Like when you talk to senior enlisted, when you talk to officers in the Army, they can do sworn statements and they can say, well, he said this in the office. So like when my platoon sergeant was like, blah, 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 what happened? I was like, I'm not at liberty to discuss that right now. I'm not. And guess what? Everything ended up okay for me. You know why? Because I kept my fucking mouth shut. Stop fucking talking. The only people that get in trouble for shit sometimes are the people that fucking like talk too much and they admit what they did wrong. The only people in the Army I ever saw get charged with adultery were the ones who admitted it. Just say no, homies.
Makes you wonder if they actually want it too.
Dude, it's like, I don't want to, like I said, the cheat code is to just fucking deny. The cheat code is to deny it because then what Army, Navy, Marines, whatever branch you're in, they have to prove it at that point. So just say no. No, I didn't.
Yep.
No, I didn't. Like make it fucking he said. Make it fucking he said she said. Fucking prove it.
Absolutely.
Do you have a video of my penis entering that vagina, and doing and repeating that motion like 45 times for 30 seconds until I fucking blow my load? No, you don't. Fuck off. No, I didn't.
That's definitely the conversation you want to have with your first sergeant on a Monday morning too. I mean, shit.
Dude, I'm not lying, dude. Like my platoon sergeant like lost his fucking shit. Like I'm talking like I was 30, 36, 37 at the time, and this dude was fucking screaming in my face. Like I wanted to fucking hit him, dude. Like, but it was like, dude, I'm sorry your ego is so fragile that me not talking to you like
is hurting your feelings. Yeah.
Yeah. Like just because you have a little bit of rank on me doesn't mean I'm fucking scared of you, bro. Like I already know this routine.
You could fuck up my life, but you're not gonna fuck up my head.
You're not, dude. You're not, I'm sorry, dude. Like I'm not intimidated by fucking screaming. Like it doesn't work on me. Like when you are in the hot seat, you don't talk. You only talk when the people you're supposed to talk around are there. And it's one of those things where it's like, fuck you, dude. Like I ain't saying shit. I ain't saying fucking shit. If you don't say shit about adultery, they have to prove it, which makes it very hard to prove.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So there you go.
And the last and this actually shocked me, but when I understood what the regulation was, I wasn't so shocked anymore. There is a regulation for straggling. Troops who fall behind or lose their way on marches or runs can find themselves in legal trouble. While a straggler on a hike is often just told to hurry up and motivated to continue by their non-commissioned officers, this offense is punishable under the UCMJ. Straggle means to wander away, to stray, to become separated from, or to lag or linger behind, the manual states. The punishment for this is confinement for 3 months, forfeiture of 2/3 pay per month for 3 months.
I've never seen that in use. I mean, and we don't really operate like that anymore. Like, if you go on a ruck march with your company, you're not going to get lost.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone ever because there's always a guy in the front and there's always a guy in the back.
Yeah, and there's usually a chase vehicle too.
There is.
There's usually not necessarily always, but there's usually a chase vehicle
for fallouts, just in case people who pass out, shit like that.
Fallouts, medical conditions, like whatever. Like that's got to be a byproduct of like a bygone era in the Army.
Absolutely.
Because we really don't like. There's no way to get lost like on a ruck march. Like I can see why they did that like back in the day. Like if you're doing like a 12-mile loop and you dip out on like mile 3 and like cut through the forest and wait till and just take a nap while everybody else like gets around to the next part of the loop.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, obviously that's what that rule was for. Is like for fucking sham artists, right? Like, but that's not the way we operate in the Army, and I'm assuming the Marines as well with ruck marching these days. That is impossible.
Yeah, yeah.
There is no fucking way. Impossible. The way
Interesting. Yeah.
You know,
and
if somebody disappeared on a fucking ruck march in today's Army, they would fucking shut that whole section of the post down to search for them.
That's true.
Like put it that way. It's taken that seriously. Like
except if you're Fort Hood. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Look at John with the fire.
I'm just saying. So, before we get to our final thought, I have something to show you. So,
is this the other surprise?
These bad boys have finally come in.
Oh shit!
Yes,
is that real?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the DD214 podcast hosts are on an official.
No way. Is it like official?
It's an official Topps card.
No way, dude. Look at that, dude.
Yeah,
that is badass.
Yeah, so it's beautifully printed. We got the Topps logo on Jay's hat there. You know, official as fuck. The printing is beautiful. We got the DD214 logo in the bottom corner. We got the position Army right there. You don't got to represent. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a few of these after we distribute these out to our families and friends. But we are going to have a minuscule amount for you guys. The reason why it's minuscule because this is the only time that these are going to be printed. This set right here will never be ever printed again. So stay tuned for a contest that once we figure out what the contest is, how we're going to do it, you can have one of these beautifully printed official DD214 Gaming Topps cards in your hand.
Maybe someday that'll be worth $1,000, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, we're on the fucking Topps card, Jay.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
In the Diamond Club at Kauffman Stadium. So,
yeah. That's fucking badass.
So
dude.
Thank you, Top. So before we get to the final thought, which is your turn, I just want to say, guys, as always, thank you for coming by. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, tell us what you think, tell us what you hate about us, because we probably like that much more than the good comments. You know, because
I do like here. I like constructive criticism, and then I like telling people to go fuck themselves too.
Yeah,
so.
There you go. So make sure you guys write to us. You guys could also leave us a voicemail in our Anchor page. So if you guys have something to say, whether it's the most nicest thing to say or the shittiest thing you could ever say to somebody, we want to hear it. For 10% off your next order of Rogue Energy, use code DD214 Gaming for an order today. Also, use code DD214 Gaming for your next art commission from Cobalis Designs.
Absolutely.
And make sure you check out Blaze Online, veteran-owned company. They've got some crazy upgrades that you guys need to check out. Expect some cool content from them coming soon. And Jay, the stage is yours.
Well, it's been another week, I guess, and I just want, as always, I want to remind people, you know, everyone, people are out there, people love you. You know, we always talk about the National Suicide Hotline. You know, it's 1-800-273-TALK. This week is kind of special for me. This is going to be my officially final week as a active duty service member. So this is the final week of my my terminal leave, basically. So next Saturday, 1 week from today, we're recording this, and 6 days from when you're probably watching this on Sunday, I will officially be out of the Army. And the worst part about my time in service in the Army was how many people that I knew personally that were lost to suicide. And anytime somebody asks me in the future what was the worst part about being in the Army, I'm going to say it's going to be because the worst part of the Army is the people that you lose. You know, and whether it's on the battlefield or whether it's here at home is really irrelevant. And when we lose people here at home and it's by their own hand or because of their own actions, it hurts that much more. I remember when I came out of AIT, when I first got out of training in my very first unit, in the first 3 months I was in the Army after training, we had 2 suicides in our battalion. One of them was in my company. I went to 2 funerals in the first 90 days I was in the Army, and both of them were suicides. You know, and there have been, unfortunately, I hate it, as much as shitty as it is to say it, there have been many more since in my life, where you start almost looking at yourself as like, I'm a survivor of suicide, not because I did anything to myself, but because I've watched all these other people around me choose to end their lives. So I just want to always encourage people, reach out, get help, pick up the phone and call somebody, go somewhere public. There was a night a couple weeks ago, I don't remember what the hell was going on. And I had itchy feet. Nikki had gone to bed, and I got itchy feet, and I wasn't tired, and I was like, I need to fucking, this is not a suicide thing, but it was like, I need to get out of the house. I'm just going to roll around until 5 a.m. Go take a drive. You know, go do something. Go somewhere. You know, stay away from this particular drug specifically. If you're having certain feelings and feeling a certain way, stay away from alcohol, please. Please stay away from alcohol. Don't drink. Don't drink to try to drink those feelings away, because I always wonder how many people we might still have with us if they had just sobered up. before they made the decision to end their life, and maybe slept on it for another day. There is always another day. There was a period in my life a long, long time ago, way before the Army, and I very specifically remember feeling like I wasn't going to make it. There was no way I was going to make it another day. And I got so scared of having that thought in my head that I stayed up all night and watched the sunrise the next day. And that watching that sunrise kind of gave me that inspiration, like, okay, I made it through the night. That means I can make it another day. I'm just going to keep trying. I guess some days that's the best you can fucking do. Just keep trying. Don't stop. Never stop. Even if you make zero progress that day, at least you're still breathing. That's the important part. Make a little bit of progress the next day then. If you get knocked on your ass and you fall fucking 2 miles backwards, okay, dude, but you're still breathing. As long as there's air in your lungs, as long as your heart is beating, as long as your eyes are still seeing, you can go. You can make it. Nobody ever fucking promised us that this life was going to be easy. Sometimes they forgot to tell us how hard it was going to be, right? They didn't exactly sell it the right way, you know?
We had to roll the dice ourselves.
Nobody said it was going to be easy. They just sometimes neglect to tell you that, yeah, sometimes it's going to be really fucking hard too. But that's okay, as long as you're breathing. So I just want to encourage everybody to have a good week. Have a good week ahead. Call your homies. Call your friends. Check up on your homies and your friends. If you got friends out there that you know are struggling a little bit, give them a fucking phone call, dude. Hello? Just because we're in our 30s and 40s now, even if you're in your fucking still in your 20s, I don't care. Call your fucking homies. You know, fucking your buddy or your fucking girlfriend is having trouble with their significant other spouse. Fucking check in on them. Okay? Nobody. Everybody's going through shit. So be altruistic and share yourself with the people you can share yourself with, and take some weight out of their rucksacks. If you need weight taken out of your personal rucksack, call somebody and share your weight with somebody else. Fucking road. So, John, as always, I do want to thank you. You have been an amazing partner in this grand scheme that we have going with our podcast.
Thank you.
And I got to say, like, honestly, man, like this is pretty much the next podcast we have, guys, is going to be live. I promise you that. And the reason I know it's going to be live is because next Saturday I'm having a little soiree at my VFW for my getting out of the Army and getting ready to leave Colorado kind of time. So next Sunday you will see Staff Sergeant Campbell be Jay officially as a civilian for the first time in almost 12 years. John, you've been a big part of that. So we will be live next Sunday morning, and I will be a civilian when we do that. I'm looking very, very much forward to. So
this is your last episode as a member of the United States Army.
As an active duty service member, yes, that is correct.
Fuck me. Well, it's been a hell of a ride, my man, and
I'm lucky to have people like you in my life, John.
I'm lucky to have you in my life, to have a fucking hero like you in my life, man. And let me just say, man, when we met, you were unsure. Halfway through, you were like, "Yeah, no, I'm fucking out," you know. Yeah, and you know, it's amazing to see you in this realm now, you know. So it's always been a curiosity too, to see where all the good guys go after it's time, you know.
Well, I appreciate your words, and I didn't join the Army under circumstances that I expected, and I'm not leaving the Army under circumstances that I expected, but it's part of life, and we have to live our lives. And I told myself the day I joined the Army, don't ever take it for granted, because it could all end tomorrow. And I still made it almost 12 years. So I had a good run, and I'm very proud, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week as a fucking civilian.
Holy
Can't fucking wait, dude.
And on that note, guys, we are going to end the show with a song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the song, I thought it was pretty fucking cool, so I'm actually going to put the video up here on the thing, too. So the song is called I Left My Home, and it's performed, so the video came from Drill Sergeant DePaulo of Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
I got a buddy who's a drill at Fort Jackson right now.
Yep, and the song was made by The Kiffness. So, guys, enjoy. We're going to listen to this song, and then we're heading on out of here.
Your daddy was home when you left. You're right. Your sister was home when you left. You're right. Your brother was home when you left. You're right. The dog was home when you left. You're right. The cat was home when you left. You're right. The fish was home when you left. You're right. Your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right. I left my home. I left my home. Join the army. Join the army. I left my home. I left my home. Join the army. Join the army. The day I left. The day I left. My mama cried. My mama cried. She don't tell her. She don't tell her. Would surely die. Would surely die. I left my work. I left my work. Running at the door. Running at the door. She knew that I would die at war. Would die at war. I left my son. I left my son. Playing in the yard. Playing in the yard. Seen everything. Playing us so hard. Playing us so hard. Oh, we, oh, we. 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 Well, we join the army. Join the army.
That was fucking awesome.
That was